This video gives an overview of my 18-month Stumpwork course, which has originally been designed to be both a standalone course and a useful follow-on to the popular Cabinet of Curiosities on embroidered cabinets. My courses are always designed to be the one that I, as an embroiderer, would want to take if it existed. Therefore, it is 10 times more than can be crammed into a book on the topic and aims to be several courses in one. In that way, a student can come to the course as a beginner or as an accomplished Stumpwork embroiderer and find many things that they want. Since launching this course and the Cabinet of Curiosities, students have told me that years later they still go back to it as the ultimate reference to reread it and get the next level of information that they need as their experience grows. Hearing that excites me, as that is how my courses are designed, to give you something new every time you read it. The starting framework for the course is instructions for 20 needle-lace stitches, both in diagrams and in animations. There are new stitches every month, and they are presented with photos close up and life scale in 7 thread types. The idea is for you to practice them and work them on the provided linen fabric with the provided threads as a sampler you can use. As I am making decisions on what stitch to use for something like King's clothing, for example, I might pull out my sampler and decide what the texture I'm looking for and in terms of the stitch, but maybe I like the way it looks in soie perlée versus soie ovale. Having these as both a practice and reference is wonderful and is the notebook part of the course. The first 3 months of the course are focused on the nitty-gritty of working detached needle lace, the mode of detached stumpwork in the 17th century versus the new 20th century use of wire-bounded satin stitch on a muslin ground that is cut away. How to build a scaffold that is detachable, filling it in, and even more important, the methods to fill shapes that aren't rectangles. That always bugged me about books and instructions on these techniques. They happily show you how to fill a square, but never anything about a tulip shape that tapers and has points or running out of thread in a row. All of these topics are covered and more, like troubleshooting your needle lace when it doesn't look perfect and what caused that problem so you can correct in your next piece. The next lessons delve into complex shapes that have multiple colors. Dresses often are striped, and you have to stitch partial rows to keep the stripes in the right direction. So how do you do a partial row in needle lace? Or even more difficult are animals, with their complicated shapes and body parts like haunches and legs where you want shading. The first challenge is how to make the scaffold on the contact paper that will allow you to take off the piece and have all the parts connected. The order of adding colors is covered, as well as changing direction of stitches to get the shading you want, and how to anchor everything in this detachable needle lace so there are no holes when you take it off. More complex topics such as color blocking your needle lace in a shape, such as this butterfly, or producing patterns in the needle lace by changing the stitch type in a row, takes needle lace texture to an entirely new direction. This is a topic never covered in print, but it is all over historic works. Then one of the most advanced topics is covered, how to carry multiple colors in the same row of your needle lace and switch between them to make patterns like this strawberry needle lace petticoat. After about 1/3 of the course is completed, it switches to concentrate on motifs. 17th century stumpwork was all drawn by a limited number of people, and so there are a limited number of motif sets. You can bet on figures, large and small animals, fruit trees, buildings, grottos with fountains and mermaids, and lots of flowers and insects. So each of these motif sets are tackled in a lesson. Plenty of pictures from historic pieces in museums and private collections are gathered to show the many ways a particular motif was filled in by the stitchers. You see bunnies worked in a dozen ways, and this is a great reference when you are looking for ideas on what stitches or threads to use, as well as how people of the past shaded or outlined their motif. Hundreds of examples are shown. Most of the topics, such as the fruit here, shown in many low and high relief methods, have a corresponding technical how-to associated with it in the lesson. In the case of the fruits, how to work over a form in several methods is shown, as well as how to give them stems and attach to your work. There are forms in your kit to allow you to follow along and learn, and yes, there is a whole lesson just on faces, hair, hands, and feet. Not content to be just a reference course, there are multiple designs provided for Stumpwork panels or mirror frames in the extras where you can decide to practice what you have learned as a project. And if you are nervous about doing all the selections of stitches and colors for the motifs and want a project guide, I added one for this Stumpwork mirror. So during the 18 months, there is also an instructional lesson each month for this project in addition to the detailed lesson topics. You have to purchase the materials or grab from your stash for this project, but all the lessons are there. A materials list is provided, but it has examples of many of the interesting techniques from the main course. To round things out, many small topics or examples from the web are included as web links to enhance the learning. The Stumpwork course is jammed with information and is a great value, something you can refer to again and again. You can use the course any way you want, as a notebook course on stitches, as a way to figure out how to replicate a piece of the past, or as a project to do the Stumpwork mirror. It is up to you.